So I went to bed last night thinking, it's been a minute since I went to Starbucks. I just haven't felt the need to go. But I like to try out different Starbucks locations I've never been to, so I'm driving 32 minutes away from home to check out a different one. And I looked up the pictures and it has like kind of different levels to it. It's not like a whole other story, but yeah. And it's a Nick Wild type of day, so I have popsicle earrings. Why didn't I put those in? Oh well. Anyway, we're gonna journal and draw and talk for a bit. I have driven across the country by myself twice, or maybe 3 times, and yet I get nervous about turning into the wrong lane to go to a Starbucks. I just smushed a bug. Alright, anyway, I decided to delete my TikTok account and get rid of the app back in April, and then as of Instagram, I still have an account, but I keep it off of my phone and I'm only using it to post acting projects. So, I decided to make a little list of why I personally got off. Vaguely talk about my personal experiences with it, but my TikTok name was the same name as this one, and I had the honor of going viral a few times. A couple of them were solo, and then one was with my best friend. And don't get me wrong, it was one of the most exciting feelings ever, because then you feel important to an extent. After watching a few videos of why people suggested getting off of social media, because I was randomly searching it because I started to feel this sort of heaviness, and it's like you hear that voice in the back of your head saying you should detox, you should take a break. I started to watch people's stories on how they felt, and I was like, okay, you know what, I definitely feel like I should do this. So back in I want to say late March actually, I tried to give myself challenges, okay, don't go on Instagram for 3 days, don't click on it. And it's really weird because you see just how attached you are to these apps, and it's kind of ridiculous. Okay, so the first reason I deleted TikTok, or the first point, was the pressure / the urge / desperation to constantly go viral. I mentioned in my other video that being on TikTok, I feel like someone's behind me. Being on TikTok just seems like a never-ending casino machine, because once you go viral, then you'll want to go viral again, obviously, and you will do just about anything to go viral, whether that's using popular sounds, even if you don't like them, or talking about certain subjects, or even hashtagging stuff, even if you know nothing about the subject, or doing things like, dressing in a way that reveals your body shape quite a bit. Now, if you like to do that, no disrespect, but if you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about, right? So yeah, I went viral a few times and it was really fun, but because of that, then that's all I would think about, whether I was alone or if I was with family or hanging with friends. I was constantly thinking about, okay, how can I make this a video? How can I make this go viral? And it's not like, I don't know. I just feel like there's this stigma around if once you're someone who constantly goes viral, then suddenly all your problems go away, you'll be rich, you won't have to get a real job necessarily, because it's the algorithm that's all they showed was very successful looking people who constantly went viral, and it gave off this like false interpretation that once you go viral on TikTok constantly, then you're taken care of for life. So my second point is I became extremely aware of my physical aspects / my body. So when I first got onto TikTok, it was mostly like dances at first. I got onto TikTok during 2020 because, you know, we were all bored. I feel like that's when everyone went on there. But I remember a lot of it became makeup videos or clothing hauls, and then started to get to me like, man, I should get clothes like that. I should buy clothes like that. I should make clothing hauls like this so I can go viral. And I wouldn't necessarily say it out loud, but I know for a fact that something that would definitely grab people's attention was your body shape. And like this one viral video that I did was a sound from the Cat in the Hat movie, and I was in like a very slim dress, and you know, it was funny, don't get me wrong, but you know, some of the comments were from men, and I hated to admit it, but I did like the attention. And you know, looking back, I'm just like, you should not have had to do that. You should not have had to do that. So because of that, I became so hyper aware of my looks, meaning like I couldn't talk to you like how I'm talking now. I hardly wear makeup ever anymore, but if I was recording a TikTok, I would have to look good 24/7. I'd have to like make sure I was always on the left side of my face so you couldn't see the gap in my teeth, or I don't know, just dumb stuff like that. Okay, third one, which I feel like we all know by this point: too much info in one sitting. Now, as someone who has multiple interests, I would get over 70 videos of every single interest in the span of 5 minutes. At one point, I was listening to too much spiritual advice, so many tarot card readings, and even though I knew that the algorithm was playing off of tarot videos that I've liked before, so now it was constantly showing me that, it was still hard not to fall for it, saying every reading is meant for you. I knew it wasn't, but it was just kind of weird. It's like you were in a trance and you believed every reading you came across or every spiritual advice was the right one to listen to. And it became really overwhelming. And then, of course, naturally, you would get all of this gossip, whether it was celebrity gossip or it was random strangers talking about their drama going on with their family or their exes. And, you know, it would just get very depressing. And I heard a bunch of stuff that I really didn't need to know about. Something else, I'm a little nervous to mention this one, but okay, so when it comes to sensual advice or, you know, Thnx advice, on one end, I support it because, you know, we should all be educated in that, topic. But there was just something about some of these advices that it would kind of get to me, and it would make me like overthink, like, oh, is that what I am? Like, people would, as humans, we just love to label things, like, you know, label positions, label orientations, and now it's like we label, if you like this but you don't like this, then you're this. If you don't like this but they like this, then you're this. And it's like, even though I don't even have much experience in that field yet, and I was already trying to use TikTok as a teacher when it came to that stuff. So that was one of the major signs that I really needed to get off. Another reason, here's the thing, there's not a problem with sharing, like, you know, career suggestions. Like, for example, I ran into a lot of videos talking about how you should get into drop shipping, get into affiliate marketing, what's that other one? Something about Canvas or something. It was like digital stuff, digital journals or digital ebooks or something like that, digital ebooks. Like, there was this, I kept running into all of these videos talking about how I need to go onto Canvas and just create these journals and then sell it. And I don't want to necessarily call it a get-rich-quick scheme, because I'm sure that stuff is actually legit, but you got to put in some effort, and I'm sure there's other stuff you got to look into, but it's like I ran into so much about it all, and don't even get me started on virtual assisting. I saw so much of it that I started to think, okay, that must be my calling. That's, I'm trying to manifest a remote job that like doesn't feel hard or anything like that. And I was getting overwhelmed with all of this stuff that it just started to get to me like, is that what I should be doing? And I would try virtual, like I attempted, like I even made like a whole separate Instagram page to try to create a virtual assistant thing, even though I had no experience whatsoever, but everyone online made it sound so easy. And again, if you do any of that stuff, that's great. But TikTok just kind of creates this little trance, like, oh yeah, just do this and you'll be successful overnight. At one point, TikTok also made me question my friendships. Now, here's the thing. I have amazing friends. Like, they are my ride or die. They've helped me so much. Like, mentally, physically, emotionally. Like, they're great. But it's weird. Some TikToks, like, again, don't get me wrong, I'm sure some of the, it's like signs that they're not your real friends, or signs that they're talking bad about you behind your back. I'm sure some of them are, legitimate, but you gotta remember that a lot of this stuff is just based on people's personal experiences, which in a way, I guess, is kind of just how we naturally teach. If something happens to us, then we want to pass it on to other people. But like, it just became so much where I would start to like overthink on like one conversation that sounded slightly off. Like, I would feel like such a horrible person. Like, am I a true friend? Or is she actually a true friend of yours? What if she's doing this? It just, if you're someone out here who is using TikTok to, share your music, share your business, share your clothing, that's perfectly okay. Like, I think that's great. If you're someone who has literally made a living off of TikTok, I think that's amazing. But you just really have to step back and think, like, is this stuff really healthy for me? And from what I've seen, the CEO of TikTok doesn't even let his own kids on TikTok. And I think is that the same with Mark Zuckerberg with Facebook? I don't know. I haven't had Facebook in over a year. I just couldn't stand it anymore. I don't want Facebook. And, as someone who is in the acting industry, sometimes I think, should I get back online so I like get noticed? But there's plenty of other actors who have gotten noticed. My phone stopped recording because I may need to buy more storage space. But anyway, where was I? Yeah. So honestly, what I can say is that after 6 months of not having TikTok, I don't miss it whatsoever. And it's not like I don't think about stuff, but my mind just feels quieter. And it's almost like my phone. I have more storage space for things. I deleted unnecessary stuff that doesn't even matter. Now, again, if you're someone who still loves TikTok and Instagram and you're using it for your business or for your artwork, by all means, I support it. But for me personally, I found it so unhealthy after a while. It was fun while it lasted, and I do admit, I really miss Call of Duty edits. Anyway, that Call of Duty era was a time. But yeah, and as for Instagram, I am only keeping it just to share my acting projects, just because I still like to find a way to share my accomplishments. And as of now, I just have YouTube and Pinterest. I could honestly see myself using Pinterest for like a good while. I use it for recipes, drawing stuff, and I also use it to create multiple vision boards. And I honestly would love to just keep Pinterest and upload my pictures there in hopes of being on your Pinterest board or on your vision board sometime. So, yeah.